And this is really, you know, drawing with ink. I want to do something like this. Let's grab the pencil and get my pencil. So let's say, you know, I've got the figure right here, and I want to make the figure, you know, doing something. And so what I do is I just real loosely, real quickly decide, you know, like what it is that I want this figure to do, and I just draw them in really, really loose, you know, really quickly. And this is just blocking in the figure, you know, trying to figure out and try to figure out where the weight is, what with the figure, what's he doing. You know, maybe he's a slave and he's pushing this circular thing, you know. And maybe we would, well, we wouldn't see the other arm, I guess, at the angle. I'm trying to think of where the other arm would be, you know, but would his arm be up that high? You know, maybe he's pushing something. So I start like this. I start really loose. I always draw in the ear for some reason. It helps me out to know what direction my character is pointing. I put a little nose on him. He's wearing a pirate's cap that blows back. Maybe it's a loose shirt. I don't know. Maybe he's got his tie on his pants and belt buckles. Maybe some of his like pant shorts are like right here. He's got capris. Drawing the loose calf muscle. A little more calf muscle. So anyway, I start this way, and then what I do is I then take it, put it into non-photo blue, and then on top of that layer, I will then create another layer, and then I really just start fleshing it out more. You know, it's kind of like what we just saw, and so you see. A little more of a fleshed out look that I'll do. Maybe he's got a beard, a mustache or something. Give him the cap. I don't worry about it being perfect. I don't worry about all of the little details, because that all comes in the illustration. You have to first build that foundation first. You need to have, you know, be able to sculpt the illustration. And then of course, as you get more and more comfortable with your process and illustration, then you can cut out some of the you know, some of the stages and stuff like that. You know, there's going to be some wrinkles right here. Maybe we zoom in just a little further. There's a muscle on the back of the arm. Here's the elbow that connects into a bone. Here's the bottom part of the forearm. And let's say, to save time, the other arm that's right here, we can do this cool little thing with it. We just grab our, oh, it's saving. So you have to wait while the computer saves. That's the only oh, what? Going too fast. I was gonna say that's the only downside, but it's really not. Well, it depends on your computer. It can be pretty fast. So there's that other arm. So anyway, just kind of show you my process of the guys. Like maybe he's pushing, dragging something, and when to show movement and motion, because things are in a static image, we can kind of make the floor like, you know, like he's pushing it, and so there's little speed lines through it as he's been dragging it through the floor. How far has he been dragging it? I don't know. We'll find out. So this is basically my process, how I do it, and what you end up seeing. So let's say I get rid of that non-photo blue underneath, and that's why you see my illustrations the way they are. And then what I do eventually is then I will take that illustration, that form, I'll turn that non-photo blue, and then we get to the next phase. And that's why I have another layer on top. And then as we approach that, and this is what you've seen so far, is me coming in with a giant nib. I didn't mean to be that big of a nib. And this is where you guys get to see cool thing is I went in too far. You gotta break the black up sometimes. You know, you can't have a big cluster of hard shadows there. And drawing and, you know, creating figures and figuring out what they do, it takes a little time, you know, to do, but it's really not difficult. And I know I say that because, and it sounds, I mean, you know, you might think, oh man, I struggle with it. I did too. I struggled with it for a very, very long time. But it does get easier, you know, when you get to the point where you can just draw the figures and you start to really just bend them. Once you learn to break down the human figure and anatomy into shapes, you can draw anything. Once you start to visualize the shape of whatever it is you're drawing, then drawing it it's just drawing shapes. And you can grab lasso fill tool, which is really cool for being digital. Fill in that black real fast. And this isn't even part of the comic book. This is just me going, you know, just trying to give you guys a better visualization of what it's like, what my art process is like, my workflow or whatever. And this is just, you know, me working really fast. And you will too. You guys will all get the speed and everything. And the cool thing about these brushes is that you can do all these cool little bends and twists, and the lines just go perfect every time. That's what I love about digital. It saves me so much time. Rudy Nebra does these rendering, and what I've learned from looking at his work is that he'll render like one side and then leave like a white on the other side, so you don't have to render your lines all the way through. You know, it's really neat effect that he does. I learned from just by looking at his work. And then we can do that other arm shadow real quick, just like. And this is really, you know, drawing with ink. And you can too. Drawing with ink is not hard. It's just a matter of building up that confidence, getting more and more familiar with things. The previous drawing underneath that I did, you saw was kind of a rough, you know, like the guy's pushing something underneath there. We get rid of that, and there's the inked version. And so anyway, the different phases and stages. There's a very loose, just gestures right there. Here's a little tighter pencil work, a little more cleanup. So you draw big to small, you know, you start with the whole drawing, draw, box in everything, work on fine tuning it just a little bit, and then with the pencil, with the inks, finally you just come in and you really do all the rendering with your inks. And that's really the process that I think will speed up your, could speed up your workflow quite a bit. But I want to thank everybody being out here watching me draw. Appreciate that. I didn't mean to make the video quite so long. It's about an hour and a half right now. Just go over real fast. We'll show you guys what I'm gonna delete all this stuff that I did, and let's make sure I'm not deleting what I've actually need on there. So this is my actual panel. It's the same thing that I went through, where it's the same process that I just showed you. It was rough gestures. The figures didn't really look, you know, they didn't have faces or anything. Then I tightened up a little bit, and then after that I reached the next phase like you see here, where I'm actually going to now add in all my detail with the ink. So I'm going to be drawing with ink. Thanks again, guys. I really do appreciate it. See you guys again on Saturday, and stay safe, and we'll see you guys on the next stream. Thanks.